Hi everyone, my name is Kara Hua. Thank you for watching VATV today. My name is Kara Hua again, and I'm your host today. VATV is the voice of Vietnamese Americans in the greater Boston area. It is also sponsored by VietAID, the Vietnamese American Initiative for Development. The first half of our 1-hour weekly program will be in English and then in Vietnamese. You can watch us live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Channel 9 if you have Comcast, and Channel 15 if you have RCN. You can also go on bnntv.org to watch us live, and if you happen to miss our live television program, it will be rebroadcast on Sunday at 5, Monday at 1, and at Tuesday at 11 a.m. To watch any of our TV shows, please go to our homepage at VATV.org. And for today's program, a very important topic is talking about youth leadership in not only our Vietnamese community, but also Dorchester community. So today I have our superstars from our youth program, Nguyen and Minh. Will you two introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, my name is Hung, and I'm a senior at Boston Land Academy. And I came here 5 years ago, and I found out about VietAID about like 3 years ago. And I was very lucky to be with the programs.
Hi, so my name is Minh. I'm also a senior at Boston Land Academy. I was a student at VietAID long ago, and then I became a teacher assistant for both summer and after school program, and then I did the peer leadership program during my sophomore years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then what did you do this last summer?
This past summer, I was mostly in the office, working on papers, translating them, or calling parents.
So office support and all that.
A lot of office work.
Yeah. And then Hung, what was your, how were you involved besides being a student?
Besides being a student, I came back to be like a tutor during the school year to like help the student out. Mm-hmm. And also during the summer, I was working as a teaching assistant. I get paid, and it was a very fun experience.
Yeah, how many summers were you a TA for?
I was working as a teaching assistant for 2 years.
Okay, so you were involved in the after-school program, and then in the summer you both were teaching assistants, so you help out with the students and focus on your community. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about our peer leadership program at VietAID. So what is it?
It was about a school year length long, I think 3 days a week. Every day after school from 3 to 6. And it was a group of 6 or 8 high schools coming together, and we have workshops about community, a lot about social issues like racism, sexism in the past and in the present time. Mm-hmm. And then we did kind of like a community service project. We did a spoken art video, talking about our personal experience in Dorchester mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
To add on what Min said, we have to talk about like what we see and what we don't see, right? So we talk about different like community problems and like different ways to solve it. We don't just like talk about it. We talk about like how it happens, and it was a great space to like share your thoughts.
So you mentioned you did a community action project essentially after your workshops, and you chose the topic of race and racism. Can you walk me through it? Like, why did you choose that topic among your group, and what was your experience sharing your own personal stories with it?
I think we chose the story because each and every one of the peer leader during our year were are Vietnamese American, either immigrated to America at a young age, or were born, and each of us had a similar experience with either being put down because of who they are, or were picked on. Mm-hmm.
I thought we chose the topic because everyone's like want to say something, want to say their thoughts, and everyone had a lot of like experience, and they just want to say their opinions.
Mm-hmm. So you could have done so many different mediums, right? Why did you choose spoken word? And you did a spoken word video.
We saw it, saw a lot of videos, spoken artists, and we thought it was really interesting and a cool way besides either filming or singing or acting. We went the poetry way and did a spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like Minh said, we saw a lot of video and we got really inspired by it. And we thought that it was a cool way to like say our thoughts instead of just like writing a paragraph and just say it on a video. We want to like put in like thoughts into it so that show that we actually put effort into what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as I mentioned to you before, that video been used in so many different ways to teach other young people about race and racism and talk about how specifically Asian Americans and Vietnamese Americans experience race, right? Like your story, you know, being in a predominantly white classroom and folks picking on the ways you pronounce things, right? And then you saying that, you know, you can't wait to be, you know, similar to other birds. You just have to be on, you know, be your own individuality. And so that video is still incredibly, very inspiring and definitely has a really big impact on the community. So talk to me more about those workshops. So like, what were the workshops about? What stood with you? You can take a moment to think about that.
I mean, so like what Minh said earlier, we it's a group of youth, like 6 or 7. We come together like twice a week, I think, after school, and we talk about like different community problems, and different days have different topics. So we just talk about it, and you know, just say what it is. We watch videos. We talk about what comes to mind when we talk about those topics, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's one community issue that you remember us talking about and discussing?
We spent a lot of time talking about domestic violence, racism, and bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You remember gentrification?
Yeah.
Gentrification, yeah.
Okay, and what that is?
It's modernizing a community, and it has a lot of, there could be benefits and there are cons to the gentrification idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a process in which property values increase in our neighborhood, and that makes it really difficult for working class and low-income families to stay in the neighborhood because they can't afford rent. So we talked about that and the ways in which, you know, community members are being pushed out. So why did you stay with the peer leadership program? Why did you decide to be part of it?
It was something that we never learned, or I never learned in school. And also there were times when there were lessons about the Dorchester history, and I would like to, and it was fun learning about where I live, and more about my Asian identity.
Mm-hmm. So a mix of, you know, learning where you're physically living, and then also exploring your identity, right? As an Asian American youth. How about you?
So just like walking around Boston, right? You see things that you don't normally see every day. You see things such as like really big house next to a really small house, and you wonder why it happens. And through like the peer leadership program, I got to know like why it happens and like how does it have an impact on the people around the communities. So I thought it was a very good opportunity for me, and yeah.
So it sounds like through the program you were able to develop a critical lens to interpret the world.
Yeah.
And would you mind sharing about your SAT's experience writing that essay? You came in and you're like, Caro, use something from our youth leadership programming.
So for SAT, one of the essay questions that I got was about listening and how it is an important skill, how it helps with life in general. And I remembered you teaching about different listening blocks and how sometimes there are like in different situations people can the message can be blocked. Like, for example, a person could be daydreaming and not listening, or the message is unclear due to like a personal background and their difference of point of view. And I use the listening blocks as evidence for my essay.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah. Do you remember that workshop when we did the listening blocks?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember it. Yeah.
And then remember afterwards, we're like, oh, number 7, you're not listening, you're interrupting. And so, right, I think listening is really important.
Yeah.
And so, why is listening important as a youth leader?
I mean, in my opinion, I personally think that when you want to like solve any problem, you want to like know that there is a problem, right? So you should like listen to like everyone's thoughts, everyone's opinions, because everyone has something to say. And it's not good if you just talk all the time. You should listen to.
Yeah.
And not everyone comes from the same perspective. Everyone have different side of the story depending on how they've been living, their religion, their background. So listening to their own story is a great way to also like connecting bonds and
Yeah. And I'm so glad we're talking about this, right? Because oftentimes when we're thinking about the media, even in schools, right, usually leaders are like those up in the front, right? They're leading clubs, and it doesn't leave room for those who are more quiet, who are more observant, listening, and those are really important skills as a leader as well. So I want to talk about, so you both been involved with VietAID for a really long time. More than half the time you were here in the U.S. So what are some favorite memories? Why do you keep coming back to VietAID?
For me, VietAID is like a second home to me. I'm there half of the time. I came to America about 8-9 years ago, and RAI is actually one of the first program that I joined, but then I went to VietAID and they helped me a lot with my homework and English skills, so I kept on coming back, helping the younger students, especially those who just recently immigrated, because I wanted to be like my mentor who helped me.
The reason why I keep coming back to VietAID is I thought that through VietAID I could like make an impact on the community, and also since I just came here 5 years ago, it helped me a lot in like my English skill as well as like the community problems. Because when I came over, I couldn't speak English, and I didn't know what was going on. So through VietAID, I learned a lot, and I feel like I should get back.
So why, you talk a lot about giving back and being part of the community. Why is it important? You're all really busy, right? Like with school and with family. I know you sometimes have to babysit your siblings. So why is it really important to stay involved as young people?
For me, to see my younger students grow up, moving to a upper grade, and improving their learning and academic skills in general is like a big like pat in the back, like, oh hey, it's kind of like I feel proud of myself for helping them.
Sure.
Yeah, like Minh said, right? It's like an accomplishment. Like when you see those kids just like come back to you one day and just like, hey, Hung, I remember you being my TA like 5 years ago. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Yeah. And what makes it a great feeling for you?
To make a good impact in someone else's life is like something.
I mean, for me right now, when I see them, I kind of see my younger self when I first came to the U.S.
Yeah.
Because there were some students who doesn't speak English, and I had to speak to them in Vietnamese, which is fine, because that was me back then, and I kind of see my younger self. And watching them grow over the summer, like they speak English more, they being more communicated. Yeah. It made me feel like I accomplished something.
Yeah, and I'm just imagining, right, like being a new immigrant, a young immigrant, and being bombarded with English, and so to know that you have a mentor, you're a role model who's been in your shoes before, and like, oh wow, like they can do it, right, or like they've been through this, and so they can support me, and so I'm not doing this alone. So I think it's just always such a beautiful thing that you two are still involved in VietAID, and you two give so much, even like being on TV today and sharing your stories. So what do you know, where would you say to your fellow peers about being involved and, you know, exploring themselves beyond being students? You know, why is it important for your peers to be involved in the community and give back and, you know, think of themselves as leaders? Is there a moment to think?
I think it's really important for the youth to like give back, because we're like the generations that we should be able to make changes, because there are people who are too old, people who are too young. We're the people that, like, you know, we're in high school, we're about to go to college. We see the things that happen in the communities, and we should like talk about how we should approach those problems and how to solve it.
Yeah, if you keep on putting the issues under the rug and never fix them, the problem can grow really big until you can't fix it and it's too late. So be early.
Yeah, and you do know that big social movements start with young people, right? Young people are always been the forefront of change, and so you're being part of that legacy. And so let's talk about, you know, as youth leaders, what are your favorite moments in part of the peer leadership program? Just any moment in general. So remember we did Take Back the Night with, you know, the Asian Task Force Against Domestic Violence. You know, what do you remember from that experience?
For me, I feel like it was a great atmosphere, right? Like everyone was like close to each other. We taught a lot. We made a lot of jokes. And my favorite moment was probably when we filmed the spoken word videos, because we had a lot of fun. We went to O'Brien, the high school in Roxbury, and we had a lot of fun there. We made a lot of jokes. We laughed a lot, and we had a lot of fun.
For me, I can't really name one, but I would say like all the icebreakers that we do in the beginning of the workshop, because that way I got closer to the peers and got to know them much better. Yeah.
Remember when we did the chocolate lava? And then how you have to use a cardboard to get across.
Right.
You never finished it. We had to move on.
In our dreams we did. It's okay.
In your dreams we did, yeah. And you did it again this summer with, you know, the Chinese Youth Initiative. And then you made it happen.
Dream come true, yeah.
So how do you see yourself growing at VietAID? You know, what are some things you want to try, explore, and continue growing as a youth leader?
I definitely grew a lot. If you see me 5 years ago, you probably wouldn't think I would be here today. And, you know, I wouldn't think I would be here today. I grew a lot with the program. I've been with the program for like 3 years now. And I'm really proud.
Yeah. And in what ways do you see yourself growing?
My English is gonna only get better from here. And I feel like I'll be able to like talk about like different community problems in the future, and you know, lead not so that you can lead forever, lead so that you know other people can lead. So I'll try to do that.
Ella Baker.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been I guess you can say promoted.
No, different role.
I went through different roles. So. I was a student, then I became a teacher assistant, and then an office assistant, and maybe hopefully someday be a teacher, actual teacher in a classroom, leading my own class.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And why do you want to be a teacher?
I don't know, 'cause
Just want to make changes.
Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing, right?
It would. It would be a fun experience too.
So once a student and now you're a teacher. How incredible. And I know, at some point you told, Junam, our former executive director, that what did you want to do?
That I wanted to be an executive director, taking over his seat.
Not necessarily over his seat, but taking care of our community, right? Yeah. So, in looking back, right, did you realize you knew what you were signing up for when I told you should join the peer leadership program? No.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know about it, but after the first few weeks, I just loved the program. Right? It was a great experience for me because I got to know about things that I didn't know before, and I got to meet a lot of great people.
Yeah, for me, you kind of told me, "Hey, we're starting a program. Join." I was like, "Okay." I didn't have time. I didn't have things to do. Okay. I'm kidding. I thought it was new, and when I went through the program, it was eye-changing, or eye-opening. Is that what you call it? I saw things through a different lens that I've never seen before.
Yeah. So we are about to recruit a new group of youth leaders, and so youth leaders alum from the program help me convince young people to sign up for this program. So why should they join? Why should they care?
These topics are not taught in school in any ways. Maybe in the textbook, one sentence, maybe a paragraph or two, and brush by it. And also at school, and students aren't gonna remember. But by going through the program, you actually focus in depth about the social issues and learn about the community.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, this is our time. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing your stories.